Okay, let's jump right into this explainer. We're going to be looking at an engineering marvel, so incredibly massive that entire armies couldn't conquer it. And the crazy part? It stayed completely hidden from the modern world until a totally random, everyday household accident. Picture this. It's 1963. An anonymous Turkish guy is knocking down a basement wall for some home renovations. Why? Well, because his chickens keep going missing, and he realizes they're literally slipping through a tiny crack in the wall. So he follows them. And he doesn't just find some dusty crawl space, he stumbles into a tunnel, which opens up into another tunnel, and, well, he accidentally uncovers an entire lost ancient civilization. You know, history remembers people like Alexander the Great or Isaac Newton, but this random guy and his missing chickens? Completely unknown. Now, what is truly mind-blowing here is the sheer scale of the place. Those chickens didn't just lead him to a panic room, they led him to Derinkuyu. We're talking about a subterranean megacity, plunging an astonishing 18 stories, that is 85 meters, straight down into the earth. And it could comfortably hold up to 20,000 people at once. We're talking schools, churches, kitchens, the whole shebang. Section 1, the magic rock and defying modern engineering. To wrap our heads around how ancient people dug out 18 underground floors totally by hand, we really need to look at the unique geology of Turkey's Cappadocia region. So, thousands of years ago, volcanoes blanketed this area in thick ash. Over centuries, that ash hardened into a rock called tuff. Now, tuff is a pretty fascinating material. It looks rock solid on the outside, but inside, it's as soft as cheese. You can literally dent it with a shovel, a toothpick, or even just by pressing your hands into it. Nature basically put up a giant neon "dig here" sign, and ancient humans definitely took the hint. And this perfectly highlights their insane engineering skills. Think about modern houses for a second. How often do we see cracks in the foundation of a brand new building? Within, what, a year of it being built? Yet here we have Derinkuyu, hand-carved 85 meters deep into the crust of the earth, and in 3,000 years, there hasn't been a single recorded structural collapse. It's an absolute masterclass in building things to last. Section 2, the descent, a floor-by-floor tour. Let's actually head down into the earth and see what daily life was really like in this place. The layout they came up with was incredibly smart. The top floors, levels 1 and 2, were reserved just for the heavy livestock. Because let's be real, taking an 80-kilogram cow down narrow tunnels to level 12 means that cow is never ever coming back up. Below the animals on levels 3, 4, and 5, you had the family living spaces. They carved out bedrooms, kitchens with actual ovens, and yeah, even oil presses and wineries to keep life feeling somewhat normal during those long lockdowns. And this wasn't some kind of recent setup either. We actually have written proof from the Greek general Xenophon. He marched through this region and wrote about these exact underground houses filled with goats, sheep, and wine. He wrote that 370 years before Jesus was born. That proves this underground megacity was humming along and fully functional thousands of years ago. As we plunge deeper, things get super specialized. Down on level 6, there was a Byzantine missionary school, complete with beautifully carved barrel-vaulted ceilings. Imagine trying to study math underground while a literal Mongol army is raging on the surface above you. I'm pretty sure those kids had a 0% skip rate. Then on level 7, you've got this gorgeous cross-shaped church for baptisms. And, well, put 20,000 people anywhere and somebody's gonna misbehave, right? So level 8 was dedicated as a dungeon to keep the peace. But you know what absolutely blows my mind? How connected this all was to the world above. Researchers have discovered over 600 secret doors hidden inside completely normal, everyday courtyards on the surface. That means a bustling, regular town with markets and daily life was happening up top, entirely oblivious to the mega city humming right beneath its feet. Two totally different worlds, separated by just a trapdoor. Section 3. Ancient engineering and defense. So the big question is, how on earth did 20,000 people and a bunch of farm animals breathe and survive down there during a siege with zero electricity or modern tech? Well, they were absolute masters of physics. Nearly 3 millennia ago, they dug 50 main ventilation shafts and over 15,000 microshafts, some of them just 10 centimeters wide. They figured out the exact angles to create perfect natural airflow, pulling fresh surface air all the way down to the bottom floors. Honestly, our million-dollar modern HVAC systems break down if you look at them wrong, but their zero electricity system, it's still blowing fresh air down to level 8 today. Their defense strategy was just as brilliant. So there was this 55-meter deep water well connecting the surface to the underground city. If an invading army showed up, they'd probably think, oh, we'll just poison the well or cut off the water. But the underground locals had the ultimate reverse Uno card. They just seal off the well from the bottom. Suddenly, the massive army baking in the sun on the surface is dying of thirst, while the city below is totally fine.
And let's say an invader did manage to find a tunnel entrance. Good luck. Every tunnel had these massive 500-kilogram circular stone doors that could only be rolled shut and opened from the inside. There's this famous story where a captain for the terrifying Mongol conqueror Timur tried to break through one. He made the mistake of peeking through the tiny center hole carved in the door and was instantly taken out by a single arrow shot from the inside. Timur's massive army stopped in its tracks by one guy, one hole, and one arrow. They basically built their own underground Thermopylae. By making the tunnels incredibly narrow, they forced invaders to walk single file. It literally did not matter if you had 10,000 soldiers up top. Once you're in that tunnel, it's a one-on-one fight. And in a choke point like that, a single defender can easily hold off a whole army. Section 4. 3 millennia of survival. Now this brings up a really crucial point. Derinkuyu wasn't just a one-and-done panic room for a single war. It was a permanent, multi-generational safe haven used over and over again. Just look at the history here. It's wild. Around 1200 BC, the Hittites hid down there. Then came the Phrygians. Fast forward, and you have early Christians dodging Roman soldiers, then Byzantine Christians hiding from Arab raids. Later on, local Greeks used it to escape the Mongols. It was just wave after wave of completely different empires using the exact same tunnels for survival. That lasted all the way until 1923 during the population exchange between Turkey and Greece. When the Greeks were forced out, the memory of the city left with them, and it just faded into myth. And this isn't just ancient history either. It was saving lives relatively recently. During the Adana massacre in 1909, a Cambridge linguist who was right there in the region actually documented locals sprinting for these exact underground chambers. They stayed down there for days, surviving in the very same rock carved by their ancestors thousands of years prior. Section 5, the unknown depths still await. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, well, with our satellites and AI, we definitely know everything there is to know about this place by now, right? Actually, scratch that. Get this. In 2013, construction workers were just doing a totally normal infrastructure project in the Nevşehir province. They start digging, and boom, they accidentally break into a newly discovered underground city. In early measurements, they're showing it goes down 113 meters, and the footprint might be even bigger than Derinkuyu, meaning the largest underground city in the world might actually be sitting in second place right now, and we are literally unearthing the real winner as we speak. Section 6. The ultimate lesson in resilience. Beyond the insane engineering and the history, there's a really profound takeaway here about what it means to survive. Think about it. What do you do when the world takes absolutely everything from you? When these massive empires and armies stripped these people of their surface lives, they didn't just give up. They didn't roll over and stay quiet. Instead, they looked at the soft volcanic rock beneath their feet, grabbed their tools, and completely rebuilt their entire world underground. And they successfully protected their communities that way for 3,000 uninterrupted years.